What is going on, guys? Joey Franzo here at Flex Training Systems. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about the pocket, even more. For those of you that embrace the pocket, you understand how powerful and literally lift life changing it can be. For those of you that don't know, I did something similar to the origins of the pocket, but I believe it was around 2016. I was sitting at a Denny's with Alberto Nunez, and he said something about staying in the pocket, and I was like, it clicked, and then I just used it ever since. Um, is a catchy way of saying what we're about to talk about here. Don't overdo it. Take what I always say. Take what you have here. Let's go ahead and add that to number 5 right here. Take what you have. It's essentially just taking what you have. Don't max out. By the way, this over here on the left was created by the future super heavyweight open champion of the world, Jesus Olivares. I hope I said that right. Anyway, he put it in his story the other day. He was actually talking to, I think her name is pronounced Casey. I don't want to mess it up. Uh, and he said that the interaction with her inspired him to make this post because he didn't overshoot. I believe it was on his big squat, and so I think I'd say Jesus is pretty good at staying in the pocket and not overshooting. Of course, there's going to be little like everybody makes little miscalculations here and there, but he does a good job of it, and I think that's played a huge role in his success. Let his existence be a testament to why you should leave some in the tank all the time, right? Um, so let me kind of break it down here. We're going to go over these 5 points, but I'll just go ahead and read Jesus's post for you. I don't even know if you guys can see it actually. Yeah, you guys can see it. If it's, I don't really want to make it too much bigger. Anyway, essence of the pocket: overshoot, failing lifts. Failing lifts leads to potential lack of confidence. Of course, if you guys are overshooting constantly and you're failing lifts psychologically, if you don't have that foresight, if you don't have someone guiding you, if you're new, if you have no idea what you're doing, it's going to break you down. You're going to lose confidence in yourself, especially during times when it is expected to feel weaker, and then you're still trying to like take these, go out of pocket and hit things you're not supposed to hit. It's going to be very detrimental to your success moving forward. Continuing on, self-doubt and or injury, two bad no-nos. Yes, of course, obviously, not only are you in a vulnerable state because you're holding a good amount of fatigue, which means muscles are damaged, maybe nutrition is not on point, maybe you're dehydrated, whatever. But then going, outside of what you should be handling and trying to lift that, you're just going to risk that injury. And then when you get hurt, now you're not making no type of progress. You're actually going to take multiple steps back, and you have to slowly work your way back up to where you were. So very simple. You're taking what you have as opposed to trying to force something that isn't there. Thank you for the follow, Purple. As opposed to taking what isn't there. It might be there after you rest and recover. It is not a we are not at any given point in our training, that is not a representation of our overall maximal strength, our potential. That is just simply where we are in that particular moment. All these follows coming in. Thank you, Bam. So yeah, you don't want to overshoot. You don't want to fail lifts. It can mess you up psychologically over time. And this is something that I'm really, 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 really big on, that I've been doing for a super long time. I think the community is starting to catch on to it now. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know how many more like unrealistic things we need to continue to do, and continue to show people can be possible by staying in the pocket. Right? I want to give people those unrealistic results. You know what I mean? While being realistic. D Millionaire 117. Thank you for the follow. Um, but basically, if you if you can reach a point mentally like where I'm at, where if I go into the gym and I feel bad, I don't even care. I just lower the weight and I get my workout done, and then I take care of recovery, and then it comes back to me and I make the adjustments, right? I don't feel anything. I don't feel sad. I don't feel emotional. If I have a good day, great, I have a good day. If I have a bad day, like my training doesn't really impact me outside of the gym, and even in the gym, it's affecting my actions in the moment, but it's not. I'm not carrying it over into other things, And I don't have any doubt in the process. I don't have any doubt in my split or RPE or anything like that. It's simply learn with the last video we talked about, learn to take the lesson, understand, and then over time, the more that you do this, the more that you go through the ups and downs of training, you know how to call audibles, you know how to be better about it, and then next time you're able to, like when come meet day, you're gonna have a lot less painful prep, and you're gonna see the rewards of consistently stacking the chips over time, right? Going on to number two, leaving gas in the tank. Your body is a biomachine where it makes its most ground and progress with consistent and steady work. Think of it as never letting your tank below 1/4 left. That's pretty good. I almost said Isaac. Why did I say that? Why did I almost say Isaac? Something in here reminded me of Isaac. Maybe Isaac needs to stop overshooting. Anyway, nah, Isaac's great. Think of it as never letting your tank drop below 1/4 left. That way, you don't get stranded and have to scatter to get back on track. So, for example, and this is where I wanted to kind of give you an example of an in workout, like you're in the middle of your workout, how you can literally ruin the workout or have a good workout based on what you're doing, right? So, if I go into the gym, this is very important, especially for smaller lifters that have a lot of stamina that can handle a lot of work. Um, with big guys, Red Hood, thank you for this up. With big guys, I've noticed you could really get away with pushing it one set, and then you're going absurdly light after that, and you're still gonna make nutty progress. Um, it depends, and for some people, you're gonna want all your sets to be kind of even. But let me break it down. Let's say you go into the gym, and you have 4 sets of 5 or 4 sets of 6 programmed on any lift, right? And you have a single before that. So you go in and you hit a single and you overshoot the single, right? You freaking hit a grinder max, right? Already from that point, it's possible that the weights and the total work you could have got done during that set, during those that 4x6, is partially compromised, right? Meaning you're probably only going to be able to use a little bit less than what you thought you were going to be able to use, had you just taken, a lighter single, right? So whatever, you get through the single. Let's say you have a pretty good first set, and you're like, you're feeling like, I don't know, crazy or whatever. And instead of doing that set of 6, you end up like hitting it. You end up AMRAPing it just because, right? You just or you hit at 6, but it's all out like, you got nothing left after that 6th rep. Now you're gonna have to really drop down those coming 3 sets, and it's debatable. Sorry, I'm gonna lower the volume a little bit. It's debatable that there's even any point to doing those next 3 sets because you sent it so hard on the first set. Now, like I said, um, whether or not that's gonna be enough to induce growth, I mean, it really depends on the situation. But if you didn't send it on that first set and you stayed in the pocket and you had a good manageable first set, you're gonna kind of space out the amount of effort you can give across 4 sets as opposed to kind of front loading. Now there are actually many instances where I actually prefer that people front load the first couple sets, and sometimes this happens naturally, right? But you never really want to go all out. Like you can have like an at 8 first one, and sometimes on people's programs I'll write something like this where I'll write like 4x5 and then I'll go 8 7 7 6 or something like that, where I want them to push a little bit harder on the first set. Yeah, you could do this all the way across, but what I've found is like sometimes um this is hard to give an example of because it really depends on the rest of the program. Like if I'm giving this to someone, or I would just do this, obviously, right? But if I want variable intensities over across different sets, um, I'll use the commas and I'll spread it out like that. But it really depends. And like I said, I've seen instances where kind of front loading those first couple sets works really, really well, and then we can do light technique work after that. And what happens is eventually, let's say, I think I talked about this recently, you hit like 700 for the first set, and then you do like 600 for your first back down, and then your next 2 you got to use 545. Well, over time, you might be able to do 585 for all 3. or you might be able to do 600 for all three. That's something I kind of like to do that with myself. I'm not super strict on it, but I'll do like my first set of 600, and then next week, and then I'll try to maintain it throughout. And if I can't, I'll work myself up to it. And if I eventually, when I can, I'm like, damn, week one of the program, I can only do one set of 600, and now I can do all my sets of 600 after my single. Um, I've been messing around with 600-pound AMRAPs just to give me something fun to do with my squat. And the first time I did it, I only did a set of five. Or I think I did four. I don't know. I think I did. I'll just say four. And then the next week, I took a big single on top of it, and then I was able to do another rep. So that was like a huge improvement from week to week. Granted, there was a deload in between, like in the middle day, but that's another thing. So I mean, it's just different ways of knowing your body and knowing, if you send it early on, like there's a difference between like overshooting a little bit and like all out, one thing that I hate seeing is like when people are doing reps and let's say they're trying to get it up to a set of five, and on the second or third rep, it's like you're pushing it, like it's debatable that you should even do two more reps. Thank you so much for the follow, Drew. What's going on today, brothers? And then they just continue to hit grinder set rep 3, grinder rep 4, grinder rep 5, and it's like if that ever happens, just stop and lower the weight and then continue on, because if you actually finish that set, now the rest of your workout's ruined, and the whole point is you could have done more that day had you not sent it on the first couple sets. I know it's complicated because I am talking about it's beneficial for some people to front load, but that's an entirely another a whole nother video that gets pretty complicated. Okay, number 3, pocket is a concept designed to keep you physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy. It makes me happy reading this because it just shows that I'm really imprinting on Jesus and he's really understanding. Um, and a lot of the times I do this without even people knowing because I throw it at you from all angles. You see it on YouTube, you see it on Instagram, you see it through my other lifters, one-on-one when I'm communicating with you, and then it just becomes a part of your psyche. And now you not only is it in deep in your subconscious, but like you're just getting it from so many different ways that it becomes a part of your lifting. You know what I mean? If you have this built-in concept, that is something that I try to give people, especially new people that have had, like, if they have bad habits from coming elsewhere, or they just didn't know, they had a completely different concept of training. I try to put that into their subconscious and give that to them in such a way where it's built into their mindset and they know how to get, like, I can give a random person a program and I can give a random person a program that has this mindset built into them. The pocket built into them is going to be like dramatically different, the results between those two people, because the second person is going to know what to do, how to regulate, what to look for, and how to get the most out of what like to most people they look at, they just see 3x5 at RPE whatever and that's it, right? So it comes with time, comes with learning your body, um, and just sort of like having those good instincts, right? Like a lot of really experienced bodybuilders, some of them kind of understand, if I'm doing a set of 15 on freaking skull crushers, and I send it on the first set, that's gonna I'm gonna have to lower the weight a good amount for the next two, especially with those super high reps because you're causing a lot of metabolic fatigue. Anyway, number 4, stop trying to max out every week. There are still lifters that I coach to this day, like one or two that have been with me for a really long time, and they're incredibly durable, so they're able to get away with it. But I think they're just mentally they're so scared of not going heavy, and they think like, oh, I have to go heavy. If I don't go heavy, I'm gonna lose my strength, and it's just been a constant. I mean, it's getting better for the person I'm thinking of in particular, but you guys got to understand that like it is actually beneficial to not go heavy all the time. And I promise you, if you're still being consistent in the gym, you're not going to lose it. Let me give you guys an example. I know I already talked about this before. I was in the bunker for a year, more than a year, right? The Arnold, I squatted 750, and then from that point forward, I did not squat 700 again until the first day I got back to zoo, which was like a month ago, right? So a year is literally a year. I couldn't get close to 700. I didn't have any way to do it. I'm not gonna take 700 in the house on a decline floor with just Tina spotting me in the garage on kilos. I'm not. It's not gonna happen, right? So I think the heaviest I went was 660, and that was like once. And then I probably took 650 two other times, and then I was just repping out 500 and just trying not to lose my gains, right? And then I came back to the gym, and then I still hit 700, and it was it's debatable. I could have probably gone up. How is that possible? If I didn't touch it in a year, how is that even possible? I actually lost, like 15 pounds, 13, 15 pounds across that time. How is it possible? I'm doing a lot more cardio now than I was. It's just 2 days a week, of about an hour walk. Some of it is difficult, some of it isn't. So how is that even possible? It's like all these things stacked against me, yet I'm still able to hit, these considerable weights. Now, granted, it's not 750, but I'm also not 261 pounds anymore. Um, that it just goes to show, like if you're giving your body a reason to hold on to your strength by consistently training, you're not gonna lose it, right? Your body is gonna make strength adaptations to weight that isn't your max. You know what I mean? If we could only make progress by maxing out, there be people be hurt all the time. You know what I mean? There's one lifter right now I'm gonna shout out. His name is Jordy Kane. He's been with me for a while. I'm actually gonna look it up because I'm curious now. But this man, Jordy Kane, I believe he's in the UK. He's been with me for a very long time. And yes, he's been with me for over 2 years. Damn, that's it. I feel like it's been way more. 2 years and 2 months, something like that, right? Shout out to Jordy. And this guy is like a unicorn. Like this man does not overshoot. He does not overshoot. He doesn't. And the other day he sent me a bench PR, and he was like, "This is 7.5 kilos over my comp max," and it was like an opener. You know what I mean? But he's like an anomaly. This man's got no ego. This man does not get emotional. This man always, if he hits an at 7 at 8, he's like, "Oh, I'm beat for today." You know what I mean? Like he knows. He's so sensitive to those little changes. And he's just never hurt. This man's just always got good form. I mean, he has good form, which is a big part of it. But I would say that is an extreme example. He's better at the pocket than even I am at times, right? Isn't that crazy? Um, so shout out to Jordy. But I mean, all I'm trying to say to you guys is number four. You don't have to max out every week. And when I say, somebody asked me the other day in the gym, Joey, what do you think about singles? Like, do you ever take out singles? Occasionally I might, but there's no reason why a healthy powerlifter shouldn't be able to take an at 5 to 6 single like year round. When you think about it, it's like when you're warming up before you hit your top set, you're obviously going to warm up. You're not just going to not warm up. You're simply taking that warm up a little bit further. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it. A single does not mean max out, and I really feel like it would be very helpful if people could kind of separate the two. Um, we talk about everything: mental impacts, physical impacts. Yeah, so getting injured, and then you're compromising the rest of the workout by going too ham early on in the workout. Not only in the workout, but other days too. If you have a high frequency on one lift, um, then obviously if you send it on Monday, you're probably not going to be able to send it on Wednesday. If you're consistently running into an issue where you just can't hit your frequency right, then there needs to be some kind of intervention, or perhaps maybe you don't need to be doing as much frequency, um, as you think. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Jesus only squats once a week, and we only deadlift once a week. So we only bench twice a week. So I mean, obviously he's a big boy, and that works for big boys sometimes. But um, imagine if he overshoots, right? If you overshoot and you get hurt with 900 pounds, you're hurt. It could break you. So um, staying healthy, we already talked about that. Kind of like lump these two together. How to apply, so you can even things out in your workout. Listen to your body. Don't overdo it. Um, and just understand that it's okay to not max out all the time, right? You don't have to do that. Like, I don't know how to stress it enough. Take what you have. That's it. If you just take what you have, you literally can't fail. Um, anyway, yeah, that's it, guys. I just wanted to kind of read. These are all points that I've already talked about in the past, but I didn't really have a topic for today, so I wanted to go over. I just kind of wanted to emphasize Jesus's post a little bit more. Um, whenever I have a piece of content that I could just add to and kind of explain that I think is useful, I'll try to do it. That being said, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Let me get a hashtag, whatever. Essence of the pocket. Stay in the pocket. Don't get stranded. In the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.